You ever notice how the most life-changing moments don't arrive with flashing lights or dramatic music? They come quietly, like a whisper in the middle of noise. And if you're not really listening, you'll miss them. That's exactly what happened to me. I'm Mason Clark, 52, retired trauma nurse, adrenaline junkie, and the guy who used to think he could spot danger from a mile away. For over 2 decades, I worked ER shifts where seconds made the difference between life and death. I prided myself on being calm, sharp, unshakable. But none of that prepared me for the moment I missed the most important signal of my life from the person I loved the most. Her name was Elise. My wife, my best friend, my reason for breathing. Elise wasn't the type to complain. She was tough, smart, the kind of woman who'd walk 5 miles in the snow and still make a perfect omelet afterward. But about a year before she passed, she changed. Not all at once. Not dramatically. Just little things. She'd laugh less. She'd wince when she ate certain foods. She said things like, "I don't know why, but even the smell of garlic makes me nauseous lately." And one day, out of nowhere, she told me she felt like her stomach had a low hum, like something buzzing inside her, just under the ribs. I laughed. Actually laughed. Said something like, "You're just overworked, babe. Probably nerves." That memory still tears me apart. I didn't see it. Or worse, I did, but I brushed it off. I chalked it up to age, stress, hormones, whatever was convenient at the time. See, when you're used to saving strangers, you think you're a hero. But I wasn't a hero. Not when it mattered most. A few weeks later, I walked in to find Elise collapsed on the bathroom floor. Eyes fluttering. Skin cold. Her lips whispered, "Something's wrong." She was right. Pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. And by the time we found out, it had already wrapped around her like a ghost in the dark. There's no rewind button in real life. I held her hand through chemo, through the night terrors, through the weight loss and the angry silences. I watched her disappear, slowly, each day a little more. And I hated myself with every fiber of my being. Not because I didn't love her, but because I did. And I failed. After she passed, I fell into a fog, left the hospital, shut off the phone, pushed away everyone who tried to help. And one day, surrounded by piles of unread messages and crumpled hospital bills, I remembered something she once whispered. "It just smells different." It hit me like a punch to the throat. That's when it clicked. All those subtle things I ignored, they weren't noise. They were signals. From that day on, I made a decision. I wasn't going to let Elise's voice fade. I started talking to others, nurses, patients, survivors, even baristas who'd heard a friend mention something off in their gut. I collected stories, hundreds of them, and I started to see a pattern. 5 unusual, often dismissed signs that the pancreas might be waving a red flag. 5 early whispers that, if caught in time, could change everything. But only if someone is listening. Before I share them, I want to ask you something. Have you ever dismissed something in your body just because it didn't seem like a big deal? Because if so, you're not alone. But you might want to lean in. White heavy check mark. To be continued in the next part where the 5 early warning signs are revealed. Let me know when you're ready to send part 2, and I'll continue the next section. It's strange, isn't it? How something as tiny as a gland tucked deep behind your stomach can scream for help. But do it so quietly you'd never know unless you knew what to listen for. After Elise passed, I dove headfirst into every journal, medical forum, and patient memory I could find. And you know what I learned? The body doesn't lie. It begs. But we ignore it because the signals aren't loud. They're weird, uncomfortable, easy to dismiss. So here they are, the 5 silent alarms your pancreas might be sending out long before any scan shows a blip. 1. Ice-cold feet and overheated face. Elise used to shiver in July. Socks on in the middle of a heat wave. I joked that she had lizard feet, but her cheeks? Always flushed, always burning up. Turns out, when something's off in the pancreas, like inflammation or a growing tumor, your autonomic nervous system goes haywire. Blood flow gets rerouted. Extremities turn icy, while your face feels like a furnace. And if that happens consistently, especially between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., when your body's supposed to reset, pay attention. It's not just bad circulation. It could be something far deeper. 2. a buzzing sensation beneath your chest. This one sounds straight up bizarre, I know. But Elise mentioned it one night, lying in bed, eyes wide open. She whispered, "Mason, it feels like my phone's vibrating inside me." I laughed, brushed it off. But that buzz, it wasn't nerves or imagination. When the pancreas swells, it can press against the abdominal aorta, your body's main blood highway. That steady pulse can start to feel like a strange vibration. Not a cramp, not gas, a soft, rhythmic hum, most noticeable when you're still, quiet, and on an empty stomach. If you ever feel that, don't ignore it. Your body isn't crazy. It's waving a flag. 3. Your favorite food suddenly makes you gag. Elise made the world's best pot roast. Rich, buttery, perfect. I used to dream about that stuff during long shifts. Then one night, she wrinkled her nose and said, "Can you open a window? That smell's making me sick." I thought she was tired, maybe catching a bug. I didn't know her pancreas was struggling to break down fats and proteins, and her instincts were trying to protect her. When enzyme production drops, your body rebels against what it can't process. Smells become unbearable. Foods you love become nauseating. If something you've always adored, steak, fried fish, even peanut butter, suddenly smells like poison, log it, especially if it keeps happening. 4. Your sweat or breath smells different. Elise didn't notice. I didn't notice. But my daughter did. She came over one afternoon, hugged her mom, and said, "Did someone spill vinegar?" We laughed. Elise rolled her eyes. But behind the humor was a warning. A pancreas in distress can't regulate blood sugar properly. That pushes the body to burn fat for energy, releasing ketones, chemicals that smell sweet and sour like overripe fruit or, yes, vinegar. If someone close to you mentions a new odor in your breath or sweat, don't get defensive. Ask questions. It might be the earliest, most sensitive sign that something deeper is going on. 5. Morning knee stiffness that feels off. What do my knees have to do with my pancreas? That was my first thought too. But the body's a symphony. One off-key instrument affects the whole song. Inflammation from the pancreas can trigger a chain reaction, spreading inflammatory signals throughout the bloodstream. When they land in your joints, you wake up stiff, achy, especially in the knees. Elise would wince every morning, rub her legs before standing. We thought it was aging, or maybe the weather, but it was her body waving a red flag when we didn't know how to read. I don't share these signals to scare you. I share them because I miss them, and I'd give anything to go back and listen harder. So if you're watching this, do me a favor. Don't dismiss that weird new feeling. Don't brush off your partner's random comment. Don't assume your body is just tired. It might be trying to save your life. Every morning, Elise would shuffle out of bed with that quiet wince. You know the sound, sharp, quick, brushed off like it's nothing. She'd rub her knees before heading downstairs, one cautious step at a time, her hand glued to the railing like it was her lifeline. And me? I just said, it's probably arthritis. Because that's what made sense, right? She was in her 50s. Aging joints, natural wear and tear. Pop a painkiller, stretch more, maybe yoga. But what I didn't realize, what I should have known, is that arthritis from aging usually favors one side. Like an old hinge creaking on a door used too many times. What Elise had was different. Both knees, equal pain, equal stiffness. That wasn't just wear and tear. That was something deeper. It was inflammation, fueled by a silent fire. A fire burning in her pancreas, leaking distress chemicals into her bloodstream, landing in her joints like sparks catching dry grass. I missed it. Again. I keep thinking if I had just asked the right questions sooner. But medicine doesn't offer time machines. All it gives us, if we're lucky, is a chance to learn from the pain we've lived through. So, here they are, again, not just as symptoms but as lifelines. Snowflake, ice-cold feet, and flushed face. Vibration mode, a subtle internal vibration below the chest. Cut of meat, sudden aversion to foods you used to love. Lemon, a strange, sweet-sour body, odor, or breath. Legs stiff, knees first thing in the morning. One by one, they might seem harmless. But 2 or more, that's not just noise. That's a pattern. That's your body trying to protect you. If you'll just listen. Please don't do what I did. Don't ignore the whispers. Don't wave them away as getting older, or stress, or being dramatic. Book the appointment. Run the tests. Ask the awkward questions. And for the sons and daughters watching, don't wait for your parents to speak up. Most won't. They've been raised to be strong, to keep quiet, to push through. So you ask. Ask if their appetite has changed. Ask if they've been sleeping well. Notice the little things, the foods they leave on their plate, the new candles they light to cover up unfamiliar smells, the way they grip the railing a little tighter than usual. That kind of care, it could save their life. I used to call the pancreas the silent organ, but now I know that's not true. It speaks, just not in the way we're trained to hear. And maybe, if more people start listening, we can write a different story. One with fewer regrets and more beginnings. If this story meant something to you, even a little, do me a favor. Click subscribe. Hit like, not for me, but for the one person in your life who might be sending signals right now and doesn't even know it yet. Next time, we'll talk about the foods, habits, and little daily decisions that can protect your pancreas and help it heal. Until then, just listen to your body, to your loved ones, to the quiet, because sometimes that's where the truth lives. Take care.